Buongiorno. Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to episode 25 of Wine with Wanda on Instagram Live. As always, thank you for tuning in. So today we are traveling with our wine glasses because it's really the only way I can travel these days. And today we're traveling to one of my favorite places in the world. And some of you already know I'm going to say Italy. And during these travels, we're going to fill my wine glass with one of my favorite wines, Trentodoc, which is a traditional method sparkling wine from the north of Italy. And my special guest today, he's going to be our guide through Trentodoc, is Maurizio Maurizi, who is winemaker for Rotari Trentodoc. And Rotari Trentodoc is crafted from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir grapes grown in the steeply terraced vineyards from the valleys and hills of Trentino and the heart of the Dolomites. And remember the Dolomites, because when we talk about Trentodoc, that mountain influence really has such a beautiful impact on the wines. Now, all Trentodoc wines are produced using Metodo Classico, so these are labor-intensive, meticulously made sparkling wines like champagne. They undergo the second fermentation in the bottle, and that's how we get those beautiful bubbles. So I'm going to bring Mauricio on in a moment, but before I do that, I'm going to show you the wines we're going to taste with him today. So we're going to start with Rotari, the Platinum Label Brut. It is the 2014 vintage, 1999 traditional method, 2014. Very impressive. And then Rosé, also the 2014 vintage. It's a blend of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, also 1999. And I'm really excited about this last one. This is kind of their flagship wine. It's Flavio. And this is the Riserva 2010. This lovely bottle is 10 years old, and this retails for about $64.99. So let's see if the Instagram magic is working today. And this is the part where I pray to the Instagram powers to be to please work so that the guests can join and I don't have to ramble on. I think it's working.
Ciao.
Ciao, Mauricio.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We are in harvest time, but we are going to finish, so it's a quiet
I was going
time.
to ask, how deep are you into the harvest right now? Did you just start? Are you almost done?
It's almost done. We are going to harvest the last Cabernet Sauvignon. That is the last grape that we harvest usually. And we already have done Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Merlot, everything before. So now it's quite relaxing time.
Wonderful. Well, before we talk about the wines, I wanted to talk about you a little. So I know you're originally from the Marche region.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes, central Italy.
Yes, and you come from a family of wine growers. So you grew up kind of in this culture of wine.
Yeah, we had a small farm. We were producing olive oil, wine, milk, because we have some cows also.
Oh, nice. Nice be said.
Yeah, but the part that was more interesting for me was wine. So I continued to study about wine. I went in Florence University for the winemaking. And then I started to work with the Mezzacorona. So my first approach in the wine business, in wine work, was in Mezzacorona winery, so Rotary. And then after that I moved in Sicily for Mezzacorona, because we have also some estates in Sicily, 2 estates in Sicily, Feudo, Arancio, Stemmari. And then I moved back in Trentino for Rotary and Mezzacorona.
Wonderful. So how long have you been with Rotary now?
From 2006, so it's 14 years.
Long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of Trentodoc wines. I've been to the region, but I still do find that for some of my American friends, when I say Trentodoc, they go blank. So, what is Trentodoc? What is it?
Trentodoc is very North Italy. I have some pictures to show better. So, this is Italy. Okay, so very north region. Here we have Austria and Switzerland. Okay, so very in the mountains of Italy. And Trentino region is a very mountainous, with a lot of mountains region. So I have one more picture. This is Trentino.
Yes.
And you can see the brown part is mountains. Okay, so the land that we can cultivate are only these small valleys in green that are where the rivers goes essentially. So it's Adige River is the biggest river, and it's one valley where we cultivate everything, not only vineyards, but everything we need to eat.
Great.
Okay.
And that's true. We call Trentodoc, you know, it's sparkling wine from the mountains. That mountain influence is very important for the wines, correct?
Yeah. So we started, not we, all the wineries there started with...
Yes, you're not that old.
Of course, we're not alone. Started with Metodo Classico because they started more than 50 years ago. And we saw that the grape that were cultivated there was very rich in aromas and perfectly made for make a long aging in bottle. So sparkling in Metodo Classico was the right experiment to do. We did it, and we saw that the result was very good. So this is the particularity part of Trentodoc, that the aroma of the grape you can maintain in the bottle also after 36, 50, 60 months, you still feel Chardonnay in the bottle, also with a long aging.
That's one. And I always like to remind people, you know, the name Trentodoc is a combination of Trento and DOC. So it's kind of a clever pairing of the two.
Yeah.
So really
Trento is the main city over there.
So really, I guess the best definition of Trentodoc would be traditional method, Metodo Classico, sparkling wine from Trentino.
Exactly.
Okay.
With the Trentodoc, it's only Metodo Classico from that region. There are no still wine or other kind of wine, only Metodo Classico sparkling wine.
So, you know, I know there's several producers. It's a small but powerful wine region with a great reputation. And each, you know, house has their own style. So what would you say the Rotari house style is?
The house style of Rotary, so we are a quite big company. We really have vineyards from the flat to the high hills, from 8 meters to 700 meters above sea level. So really we want to show in the bottle what comes from the vineyards, okay? So we don't play much with the liqueur, we don't play much with the yeast, we want just to show what the vineyards can give in different elevation in different part of Trentino.
Wonderful. Yeah, and one of the things I noticed, I was there actually just about a year ago in the region, and the air is so fresh and so beautiful, and it seems that kind of organic and sustainability is just kind of the norm in that region for making Trentodoc.
Yeah, you know, we are 1,600 growers.
Wow.
For 2,500 hectares. So each grower, each farmer has 1.5 hectares. So really, it's a small part that the farmer care like a garden. So he can care a lot about the health of the grapes, cutting the grass. So we don't need to use a lot of pesticides. We don't need to spray to kill the grass. We just cut it because it's a small part for each farmer. And we started many years ago with the sustainability, and we are one of the main region about this philosophy. Wonderful. In Italy.
Great. Well, I think we should start with the wine. So we're going to start with, I guess, the 2014 Brut?
Yes, I have a bottle.
Perfect.
You already opened it.
Yes. You know, I'm very clumsy opening bottles, so I'm always afraid to do it on camera, that something will go wrong.
I do it.
So I will wait for you, not a problem. So for those of you just tuning in, today we're discussing Trentodoc, and I keep pronouncing it like it's Spanish, it's Rotari.
Rotari. Correct.
Winemaker Maurizio Maurizi. So that's
yes,
what we're chatting
perfect.
today. I'm having, I mean, it's only noon here in New York, and I'm going to have sparkling wine, so I'm happy.
That's good.
Good way to start the day. So this is kind of, I guess, as someone who doesn't know Rotari, this is kind of a good introduction to the wine
Yes.
style, right?
Our 24 months is made mainly with Chardonnay, that is the main variety. We are the biggest producer in Italy of Chardonnay, so we are
Seriously?
proud of it.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Wow.
Yeah, we use for Metodo Classico, and we use also for still wine as a Mezzo Corona brand.
Okay.
But
Okay.
okay, so this is more than 80% of Chardonnay and a touch of Pinot Noir. Okay, Pinot Noir give a bit more body to the wine. Chardonnay give the freshness and the aroma and the vertical part to the wine.
Yeah. You know, the first thing I noticed as well, mine is a little cold, but the color, you can tell it has some age on it. You know, it's really kind of a beautiful golden, kind of rich color.
This is 100% stainless steel fermentation, the first fermentation, I mean, so the basic wine. So we don't use oak, but you see the color is rich,
Yeah,
it's quite yellow, no?
Yeah,
Because
quite yellow.
the grape was mature at the beginning. So that's the good part. We have a lot of sun during the day, a colder temperature during the night. So the grape have a big temperature excursion between the day and the night and accumulate a lot of aromas and mature right well.
And the aroma is very nice. I'm getting, you know, you can tell the time on the leaves because you're getting some of those yeasty aromas coming through. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a touch of yeast, of course, because 24 months, the yeast release a lot of proteins, a lot of aroma in the wine. But
Yeah.
the first approach, you see, is the green apple, the white peach. So it's the fruit that come from these vineyards. So we are around 400, 500 meters above sea level.
What's also impressive to me, like I said, this is the 2014, and I believe this is the current vintage on the market in the US.
Yes, it is.
So you really hold these wines for a long time and give them time to kind of grow and mature.
Yeah, and this wine year by year gets better. So when we put on the market, we know that it's a bit too early also, because we know that it will be better in 1 year, in 2 years, you know. But anyway, for the first wine, I mean, we put in the market, it's quite long maturation.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, really getting a price around $20 here in the US for a traditional method wine with 6 years of aging.
It's not much. There is a lot of work back of this glass, you know.
It's true.
And but anyway, we produce a lot of bottles, not a big quantity, but we can divide our costs in many bottles, so we can reach down the price of each singular bottle.
Is there something that you like to eat with this particular wine? A favorite pairing?
I'll be very Italian. Usually I eat pizza or pasta with this wine, but it's my. But you can have it with the oysters, for example, or fried chicken. Why not?
Yes, a great combo. Yeah.
Yeah, the acidity is very refreshing, so it cleans very well the mouth. When you have something oily or fatty, it's a perfect pairing,
Yeah, this also has a very nice texture to it. It has a nice weight to it. The bubbles are very delicate.
After you drink it, you have the taste remaining in the mouth.
Absolutely.
For a few minutes.
Yeah, well, lovely. Thank you so much. So what's the second wine that we're going to try?
Yeah, we're going to rosé.
The rosé. Okay. So everyone, here's the rosé, also 2014, also 1999. It's a good deal.
Yes. But here we have opposite composition. We have more Pinot Noir and less Chardonnay.
And have you always made rosé, or is it a newer addition to the portfolio?
We started with white, but in 70s. And then after a few years, we went to rosé also, because we saw that Pinot Noir, we produce also a lot of Pinot Noir, and Pinot Noir grow very well in our valleys.
It's true, the climate there. Well, the color is just beautiful. While you open it, I'll show kind of that nice salmon, almost coppery, kind of onion skin orange. Just really, really pretty.
Yes. 24 months. Here, always give the aroma of the yeast, of course, but here you will feel more the aroma of the grape, because Pinot Noir is more impactive grape, it's more rich, big. So Here you have the strawberry, the ripe strawberry, the raspberry aroma. And of course there is the toasty part that comes from the yeast. Okay, but the first impact is always the fruit from the grape.
Yeah, definitely. Very aromatic.
With a mousse, it's not bubbles, it's a mousse that fills the mouth. No?
Yes.
I feel this.
That's the perfect way to describe it. It's like a very subtle creaminess to it. Beautiful red berry flavors. It's crisp though, but crisp and creamy at the same time. It's an interesting balance.
Crisp and creamy, right. we call it this acidity. In a sparkling wine, you need acidity. The wine has to be fresh, but we call it friendly acidity.
Friendly acidity.
So it's not
I like that.
So it's something that you enjoy easily. It's not something that you need to eat something, but also by himself you can drink easily.
Absolutely, it's a great aperitivo wine, but yeah, I could also see it pairing with a wide variety of foods as well.
With chicken, salmon, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Or pasta with olives and tomato, for example, or steak. Why not? Steak with some, balsamic vinegar reduction. You have this fatty part, the fresh part. Pairs perfectly.
Do you cook as well? You seem very precise with your pairings.
Yeah, I cook. I'm an Italian guy. I cook with my mama. It's very classical.
I love it. Next time we'll have to have you make a dish while we do this.
In this period, not much, because harvest time is quite busy, but usually for dinner I cook by myself.
Wonderful. Again, you can tell the freshness is still there, but you're getting a bit more complexity because of those 24 months on the lees and, 6 years in the bottle, really.
Yeah, it's a wine that was made 7 years ago, so it's a guy told like that.
Exactly. It's true. It's true. So lovely. I really enjoyed that. So, who is Flavio?
Flavio is a big boy.
Yeah.
So it's our flagship. We reserve a vineyard or small vineyards at 600, 700 meters above sea level. So one of the highest parts. We select them year by year. We can change the vineyard because not always the same vineyard is the best of the vintage, so every year we select. We bring in the winery, we do the basic wine, and the basic wine, part of the wine is fermented in barrique. So around 50–40% is fermented in oak, the restant part in stainless steel, then we blend, we go in bottle for second fermentation.
Great. So this is the 2010, so 10 years old.
Yeah, 10 years old is bigger.
So who is it named after? Is Flavio a person or? Flavio.
So Rotari was the Longobard emperor that came in Italy, and with his people was sleeping in Mezzocorona flat where we are, and he became the king of Italy.
Okay.
And to remember the Roman Empire, he gave to himself the name of Flavio. Flavio is like to say very important Roman emperor.
Okay.
So that's why our best one we call it like Rotari Flavio, the king.
And you only make this in the best vintages, is my understanding. You don't.
Yeah,
it's not a guarantee that you'll make it every vintage.
And some years we produce like 20,000 bottles, some years 5,000 bottles, some years we don't produce, so depending of which vineyard we can select, or we cannot, depending on the vintage.
And so really we want to... How many bottles of this are you making of the Flavio?
Every year is different. The maximum number of bottles we reached was 30,000.
Okay.
That was the best vintage we had. 2010 we had like 5,000, 6,000 bottles.
Wow. Wow, so pretty limited quantity. Yeah, it's really a beautiful bottle. I mean, if you know, it catches the eye.
It's
Definitely
an
does.
emperor, it's a
Yeah.
king, so we need to be very regal.
Yes. It's true. But while you open, I'm just going to hold up the glass and look at the color, everyone. That is rich, like 18 karat gold, 24 karat gold. It's really just
Yeah.
gleaming. It's so pretty. And the
Very
nose, oh my
pretty.
God, there's like this nuttiness that's coming out. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, after 6 months, of course, you have the touch of barrique of the
Mm-hmm.
basic wine, and then you have the aging, so the yeast, you have the hazelnut. Something particular that we do with this bottle, I tell you this. This bottle, if you see the shape, is not the classic bottle, but it's a bit more curved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we use this bottle because when we put on the horizontal way, the yeast is not all along the bottle, but remain only in the middle.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so the surface of it exchanging with the wine is smaller. So also after 60 months, we don't have the impact of the yeast immediately. Okay, we have the wine basically on the nose, and then also the yeast.
Great.
It's
Yeah, that's
quite
really
spicy,
capturing.
herbs,
Mm.
big,
Big.
full, round.
Yes, nutty. There's like a little gingery taste to it as well. Still
Yeah, that
fresh.
was
Like
quite.
the fruit is still singing, I think.
Yeah, that's the aim. You know, we
Yeah.
want to feel the Chardonnay in it. It's 100% Chardonnay. We want that Chardonnay expose itself.
Yeah, there's no confusing it for anything else. Like this is such a beautiful, and that's why I always like to tell people, you know, I think there's a danger that some folks abroad still think all sparkling wine from Italy is the same. And
It's not like that.
yes,
No,
and Trentodoc, you know, it's made in the same way as champagne, but it's not an imitation. It's very particular profile of the terroir of
exactly.
your region. So it's really
Yeah,
something special.
champagne usually works more with yeast. You
Mm-hmm.
know, with the more vertical wine. We work a bit more with the grape. You know, with more ripe grape, with more aromatic grape. So we need to use our terroir, okay?
Yes.
We need to use our mountains, we need to use our valley.
Yeah, I think definitely, you know, that freshness and acidity that your grapes get there, you can taste it in the glass. They're ripe but not overripe. And just the capacity for aging.
Yes, I don't know how long it can age, but for sure it will be a long time.
What's
And
the
if
first
you,
vintage of Flavio that you made? What was the first vintage of it?
my first vintage was 2006,
Okay,
because
okay.
before I was in Sicily, and so 5 years ago, no, five vintages ago, I started with Flavio also.
Wow.
Yeah. But we are a team of winemakers. I'm not alone, of course. We are 5 winemakers, and the oldest one is 70 years old. He was starting with sparkling, you know, and we work very close each other.
So what do you like to, I mean, this is really a very gastronomic wine, I think. So what
Yeah,
would you like to?
you're gonna buy himself because I think it's the best way because you can really enjoy
Mm-hmm.
the flower because the taste always change, you know. But you can have with a very aromatic cheese, for example,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or simply with some white meats, but not really cooked, not really
Yeah.
elaborated, you know, with very pure aromas, with very pure tasting is perfect, or with a shellfish risotto,
Ooh,
why
nice.
not?
Very nice. Well, you know, in about a month or two, will be Thanksgiving in the US. And even though times are tough, you know, there's still something to be thankful for. And I think these wines would just be a lovely addition to any, you know, holiday celebration, you know, just great
Yes.
anytime. So if there's
Sparkling for,
something,
yeah, sparkling for celebrate is the perfect wine. Metodo
exactly.
Classico is the perfect sparkling wine. I think.
So is there something that you would like to, that you get frustrated, when you're trying to explain Trentodoc to people who don't know it? What's one thing that you really want to get across to people?
When I talk, I have back on me 1,600 people that work every day in the vineyards. Their life is about vineyards. So when I talk about wine, I need to bring to the people their job, the job that they do every year, every day of the year. So really, if I could explain how much care, how much passion the people put in the vineyards, and if I could show the grape that arrive in the winery that they prepare, just looking at the grape, you can understand the quality of the wine that will come, because are perfect grape. So really, when we vinify it, it's a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
Because we need to preserve this quality and put in the bottle, and increase is impossible, but to maintain that quality that arrived from the grapes.
Yeah, you raise a very good point. One of the reasons I love to do these segments is to remind people that there are people behind this. Wine doesn't make itself. So there's the winemaker, there's the growers, but it's also about authenticity. So it's this long tradition that you're continuing. So when you buy a bottle of wine like this, it's not just that it's delicious and enjoyable. You're really helping to support a tradition and a culture and a community for $20.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
It's an important thing.
Trentino region was one of the poorest region in Italy 200 years ago.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then they started to collaborate each other, to creating co-op, okay? And this was the way to grow, to survive first, and then to grow, to start to sell something, and now is one of the richest region in Italy,
Yes.
So really, the passion and the work of each singular person created a big richness, a big business in Trentino too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. For everyone watching, these wines are widely available in the U.S. You can follow them, Rotari USA on Instagram. Yeah. And Maurizio, I hope when I can finally travel again, I'll come back to Italy and be able to meet you in person.
We wait for you in Trentino, okay? From now we can start to ski also, so we can have tasting, and then we can go to ski on the mountains.
Sounds like a plan. Grazie.
Salute, cheers.
Salute,
Thank you.
Cheers.